What? 80 degrees? Regulars people fan. My kind of fan. Hey yo interneters, welcome back to another video, and today we're gonna be learning the pen trick called the charge and talk about the issues that I face while learning this trick. I want to take a quick moment to say thanks for Zhang, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, and for all of you who made suggestions in the previous video. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. So you can learn the charge in finger slot 1 and 2, 2 and 3, or 3 and 4. But in the video, you'll see me learn how to do the charge in finger slot 1, 2. And that's because I already learned the charge already as one of my first pen trick ever in slot 2 and 3. And hopefully by learning in slot 1 and 2, I can capture more of an authentic feel of me learning the process. And I will be using the same exact method that I did for finger slot 2, 3. So to do the charge, you want to have your pen held between your index and middle finger while having them slightly bent. From there, you want to extend out your two fingers and have them pointing straight. Doing this will have your pen move along with your fingers. When you are straightening those two fingers out, you want to have your index finger go in front of your middle finger while doing so. Then you will take your index finger and move it behind your middle finger. And lastly, you will take your index finger and move it back and have your index finger side by side with your middle finger. When you do all of these finger motion, you can see that the pen is shifting along with your fingers. And when you combine all those steps together, it should look a little something like this. So as I'm practicing the motion of my fingers, like bringing my index finger in front, behind the middle finger, and to the side, I try to make the pen go in a circular motion. And how I do that is I have the pen, or the end point of the pen that's near my palm, try to touch imaginary circle points that I made around my hand. And of course, while you're trying to follow the imaginary circle, you want to keep the pen motion as circular as possible. In the video, you can see my line is kind of not circular, it's a bunch of squiggly line, but the outer shape kind of looks like a circle, right? And I took this process very slow, and I took my time with it, trying to get as much control over the pen as possible while moving my fingers. I think that when you're working with the pen this way, it prevents you from having the pen going side by side when people are trying to learn this trick. So I think this will help a lot in preventing that. So after some time, I got used to doing the motion with my fingers, my middle and my index fingers, and I started to make the pen more circular. I'm doing it a little bit more faster and more smoother, and as I continued to practice over and over and over, I was able to end up doing a charge, just one charge. And of course, I'm assuming that you want to do the charge continuously, so I'll incorporate that in this video as well. So at this point, I'm able to do a single charge. So the goal for me now is to do at least 2 charges, and when you're able to do 2 charges, you can slowly add on continuous charge easier. So as I'm trying to do it, it was a little bit difficult because I'm trying to do 1 charge, and as the pen goes down to its resting point after the first charge, I'm trying to use that momentum and carry it up again for the second charge. And so then I realized that as the pen is falling down and I actually keep my finger straight but have that slight bend to it, like bending near the knuckle part of your finger but keeping your finger straight, like how you see in the video, and alternating it, it actually helps with the pen continuously spinning in a circle. And that's what helped me and solve my problem of getting multiple charges in. So usually at this point, you should be done learning the continuous charge, but for me, I ran into a problem. And that problem is when I'm spinning the pen, I'm end up holding the pen by its edge. And no matter how much I tried, it would always go to the edge. And I don't know if you experienced this kind of problem while learning this trick. Yeah. And how I end up solving this problem is, as the pin spin around my fingers and I feel the pin slipping towards the edge, I would take my index finger and then I would lift it up and grab a portion above the pin and then scoot it down towards the middle, where my finger will go back into the middle or the center point of the pen. And it took a little bit of practice, but eventually you could do it quite often, and eventually the pin will just have a slight bounce to it the more you practice with this method. I noticed that another method is when you turn your wrist up or down, the pin would actually reach the edge depending on where the gravity pulls the pin. And so if you want, you can actually adjust your wrist slightly slanted one way or the other, and you can manipulate the pin going up and down without you actually having to move your index finger to grab the pin and then shift it back towards the center point. And once you get all those stuff down and fixing all the issue, it should look a little something like this. For me, I decided to combine those two methods where I have my wrist kind of slightly slanted and then the pin will always reach the edge in one direction, and then after that I would just reach and grab the pin and shift it back the center point with my index finger. I spent a total of 1 hour and 18 minutes while relearning the charge, and it's a lot better compared to when I first learned the charge in my slot 2-3, which took me a little over a week and practicing it like several hours a day. So this is a lot of improvement, and it's because I have experience in learning the charge before. And I only dropped the pin a total of 63 times, which isn't that bad compared to many of the other tricks that I learned, dropping it in the hundreds or even thousands. For those of you who made it to the end of the video, or for those of you who click and watch the video, I just want to say thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you enjoy my videos. I am going to be posting every Monday, even though this video came out on Saturday. I think I will post this video. I will still have another video on Monday, so make sure to stay tuned to find out what that will be. For those of you who are wondering, yes, the charge with the paper added to the end with a little curve to the paper did fan me. It blew some wind in my face and I felt refreshed. Now, is it better than